यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विस एग्जामिनेशन दुनिया की वन ऑफ द टफेस्ट एग्जाम जिसे क्लियर करने का सपना हर साल लाखों लोग देखते हैं। ऐसा कहते हैं कि इस एग्जाम को देने के बारे में सोचना और इसके लिए प्रिपेयर करना अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी बात होती है। डॉक्टर आकाश शाह शो के इस एपिसोड में हमारे साथ है एस भावना मैम, जिन्होंने यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विस एग्जामिनेशन 2022 में ऑल इंडिया रैंक 55 हासिल करके अपने आईएएस बनने के सपने की ओर कदम बढ़ाया है। इस पॉडकास्ट में मैम ने हमारे साथ उनकी डिटेल्ड स्ट्रैटेजी शेयर की है। उनकी बुक लिस्ट, उनके करंट अफेयर्स के सोर्सेस, उनकी आंसर राइटिंग की स्ट्रैटेजी, इन सारी चीज़ों के बारे में मैम ने हमारे साथ एकदम डिटेल में बातें की है। तो अगर आप यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट हो या यूपीएससी देने के बारे में सोच रहे हो तो आपको ये पॉडकास्ट डेफिनेटली देखना चाहिए, क्योंकि इससे आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने मिलेगा। अगर आप यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट नहीं हो फिर भी आपको ये पॉडकास्ट देखना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर मन में जिद हो तो हम क्या कुछ नहीं कर सकते, इसका बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल है भावना मैम। तो चलिए बिना वक्त जाया किए ये पॉडकास्ट शुरू करते हैं। आगे बढ़ने से पहले डॉक्टर आकाश शाह व्लॉग्स और डॉक्टर आकाश शाह को यूट्यूब पर सब्सक्राइब और इंस्टाग्राम पर फॉलो करें।
Congratulations, ma'am, for securing such good rank in civil service examination. Can you please tell us how did you feel when you saw the result for the first time?
Firstly, I would like to thank you for wishing me for the heartfelt wishes. In fact, I got to know the result when one of my close friends, Kiran, he called me and he informed me. So that was the first call. As soon as I heard it, but saw it, so I was really very happy and I was satisfied. The first thing that I did was I informed my close family members, and even they were really satisfied that years of hard work, blessings from elders, and patience really paid off.
And what was your overall experience in preparing for UPSC examination?
The overall experience, it has been a very long time in fact, and through these years, through the syllabus, like one part is reading, getting knowledge, writing practice, that patience, consistency and dedication that you get. The other aspect is when you grow as a person, like when you read about various aspects that goes on in daily life, with examples in ethics, that is GS4 paper, which teaches you about morals, values, how to deal with people or how to improve as a person. So that is what I felt was that overall it kind of completes you, it makes you a much better human being. So this is the experience that I have gained through the exam.
Ma'am, in this examinations we need good support from our family. So can you please tell us about your family background?
In my family, we live in a joint family. So it is my mother and I have my younger brother. He's a software engineer. And other than this, I have been supported by my uncle, from my aunt and my extended maternal family. So throughout they have stood with me like a rock. And in fact my mother, she's given me freedom to go and explore whatever I wanted to study, wherever I wanted to be, whatever I wanted to do. And even now when I am posted in Sholapur away from Bangalore, she did visit, she did set up my house and then again she went back. So she's been a rock solid support for me.
Yes, that's really good. So ma'am, can you please tell us about your educational background?
Okay. I've done all of my education in Bangalore. So till 12th standard, I studied in Bishoppuram Girls High School. Thereafter, I did my electronics and communication engineering from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering in Bangalore itself, affiliated to it. So this is my.
So like academically, you were a bright student, or how was your academic background?
Academically, I was a good student. I can't say that I have topped always. But yes, in engineering for 4 semesters, I was the college topper. And in school, in 10th standard and 12th standard board examinations, I was the topper for the school.
So ma'am, is it necessary to be academically sound or academically good to pursue your career in civil services?
No, not at all. Because again, if I very frank with my percentages, in 10th standard it was 92%. In 12th standard it was 88%. So that was not like what students these days get. They get almost 625 out of 625 in 10th standard.
100%.
Yes, 100%. So these have been modest scores. So it is not needed that you will have to be topper in everything or get 100 on 100 in every subject.
And what exactly motivated you to pursue your career in civil services?
One aspect which is constantly been driving me is that kind of people-to-people touch that you get through civil services. And even now, currently being posted as AON, I get to meet so many people on a day-to-day basis. So that understanding what they need and how I would be able to deliver and contribute to the society. So this is what was there at the back of my mind, which in fact drove me to choose this as a career option.
And as you said, you are AON at present. So what is your nature of work at present as AON?
At present, being AON general, I look into the staff matters. So operating department has a total staff of 1,400 approximately. So dealing with regular staff matters. In case, God forbid, unfortunately, if there are any accidents, then accident inquiries are conducted. Apart from this, managing the day-to-day operations of the railway, that also sometimes that is my job profile.
So ma'am, that means you have cleared the exam earlier as well.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that background, or how many attempts did you take to reach all 855?
Okay. Earlier in the 2018 examination, I cleared with a rank of 314, and that was my third attempt. And this current attempt, 2022 examination, this is my sixth attempt. So thereafter, even after clearing the exam, once I again reached the interview, but I did not get selected. And the subsequent attempt, I in fact did not clear mains also. This is the sixth attempt in which fortunately I got a decent rank.
And so you have been studying since very long. So how did you maintain that patience which motivated you for so long?
One thing is when I did clear in 2018 examination and I got Indian Railway Traffic Services, I was very happy and satisfied that it is what I have wanted throughout. So after getting that, when I went to training, met the batchmates who were again preparing for the examination, because my first preference was getting into the Indian Administrative Services. So when I met people with similar ideas, similar optional subjects, and when we did exchange notes and we had a good support there, wherein we discussed the general studies, we discussed optionals, then we started writing answers, we practiced together, we used to cross-check each other's paper. So this strong supportive environment that I found during training, in fact, it kept me motivated to study again and attempt the exam again.
Because that environment also matters a lot.
Yes, it does, because in training for almost 2 years, all of us, we batchmates, we will be together. So we will be, in fact, our parent institute is in Lucknow, Eritim. So when training happens there, we are together in hostel, we attend the classes in the morning, and after coming back, we used to come back and study for UPSC examination. So this environment will support you.
And ma'am, which was one of the most challenging situations during preparation?
So this is like a kind of a personal peculiar situation that I faced. I lost my grandmother just after prelims, after the results, it was around 3 weeks for the mains examination.
And during this attempt?
Yes, during this attempt. So I was in Baroda, and I was not able to go back home also because I had to appear for mains and I had requested for leaves to appear in the main examination. So again, I could not go back, whereas I did not feel like staying back and then continuing with my studies also. So that dilemma and that kind of a personal loss that I had to face was too overwhelming for me. This is something which is very personal, of course, but this was the most difficult situation that I faced this time.
So I feel your grandma's blessings was continuously with you, which brought you till here. So ma'am, what was your overall approach during studying for this examination? Like, how did you keep your vision while studying?
One thing is to do with a timetable. Like, there are fixed schedules and UPSC releases the notification very early. So next year's calendar will be out by
1 year prior.
Yes, 1 year prior. So when they see the calendar and they know the exact dates on which they are going to write the exam, what I used to do is I used to prepare a parallel calendar. So by this month I would finish this much of studies. By this month I would finish this. So this target, what I used to give to myself, as much as possible, I would make sure that it is practical enough to complete. Because sometimes previously when I had done this mistake, I used to kind of keep very unrealistic targets which I could never meet, and then I used to feel bad that maybe I'm not up to mark, or I used to have this low confidence problem. But this time I made sure that the targets are achievable and they are realistic. So I used to meet the targets. Then I used to do practice tests. Whether it's for prelims or for mains, I used to do these mock tests. So they continuously help me improve and also to find out where my mistakes lie and what else I can do to make sure that mistakes don't happen in the real exam. So this continuous chain of taking the mock test, practicing, completing the syllabus along with maintaining the target or that monthly target, whatever I had said. So this kind of helped me to clear this examination.
So ma'am, what was your exact routine when you were preparing before clearing the examination, like before your third attempt, and how it changed after you got cleared and after you were a working professional?
Okay. Before clearing, I was preparing full time, so I had lots of time with me. And at that time, my work routine was not very disciplined because I used to study at night, and in the morning I used to get up very late. So this was a routine practice. But one plus point is I would get around 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours of study per day.
Before getting selected?
Before getting selected, when I was preparing full time. Now, after getting selected during training, we had PT. For some duration, we had PT from morning 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock for 1 hour. And thereafter, our classes used to go on from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. So, only time I would get would be from evening 5:30 around, 5:30 till night, whatever time, so that I have to get up next day morning again at 5 o'clock. So, this, and throughout the training, we have been moving from one institute to another institute. So, we never stayed at one place for more than perhaps 2 months stretch. So, all that we got at one place was around 2 months. That was the best. Then automatically we would go to another training institute. So, this routine I modified my timetable to suit it. So, what I used to do is after coming back from the class from 5:30 till 8 o'clock till the dinner time, I would do my general studies. After finishing dinner and coming back from 9 o'clock to around 1 o'clock or 1:30 at night, I used to do my optional subject. So this is how I did manage when I joined training.
Those aspirants who are working for around 8 hours, how they can manage their working along with preparation?
One thing is to make the best out of holidays. Like even during training, I used to get my Sundays off. And most of the Saturdays it used to be off if we did not have any extracurricular activity. So I made best use of Saturday and Sunday and all the government holidays that I got. So in those holidays perhaps I had studied for around 14-15 hours. So that used to compensate for the other time that I could not read. And also one thing that I would suggest is to make short notes. So when somebody is working or when they know that they don't have time or they are going to face this time crunch, if they have done the short notes for revision and if they only sit and keep revising those short notes, that will really help them retain whatever they have studied also, and it would make sure that they would not face this issue of time management at the end of the exam, like during mains when they are writing the examination. They can just go through the short notes.
So ma'am, to make this podcast more relatable and more useful for aspirants, let us try to help aspirants in a proper systematic way, with your due permission.
Sure.
So ma'am, to begin with, firstly, is it necessary to have a plan B?
Yes, it is necessary to have a plan B. Fortunately, I was already working in railway traffic services, so that was my plan B. And in fact, that gave me more confidence to read again and to read without any kind of stress. So when you are reading without any stress or anxiety, it optimizes your performance.
So ma'am, now the first important step in clearing any examination is to know its syllabus. People say that UPSC has everything under the sun. But the one who have topped this examination or the one who have qualified, they say that no, UPSC has a defined syllabus and it asks only out of that syllabus. So according to you, in your opinion, how to decode the syllabus and how to refer it in the right manner?
In fact, decoding the syllabus, UPSC has already done it for you. So it has given in detail, point to point and even word to word. UPSC has specifically mentioned it. All that you need to do is go to the upsc.gov.in website, download the notification, read every word of the syllabus which is given, and those keywords or those words which are mentioned in the syllabus, you will find them in standard textbooks which are referred for UPSC. Say for polity, Lakshmikant, or for history, they can either refer Bipin Chandra or Spectrum. So in those textbooks, it is clearly mentioned whatever the syllabus is. So, and if there is anything which is a discrete topic or anything that is from current affairs or anything that is missing, even just googling out that particular keyword from the UPSC syllabus, you will get many relevant links from which you can refer and read. So this decoding the syllabus is already done.
So ma'am, this exam has 3 phases. Can you please briefly explain these phases for our viewers?
Yes. The first phase is known as a preliminary examination, which consists of 2 papers. One is General Studies Paper 1 and the other one is General Studies Paper 2, which is also known as CSAT. So in General Studies Paper 1, there are 100 questions which total of 200 marks, and each question has got a plus 2 marks, and there is negative marking also in this examination. Negative marking of 1/3, or for every wrong answer you will lose 0.66 marks. For CSAT there are 80 questions, and questions for CSAT mainly come from mathematics, aptitude, English comprehension, and on topics like these. For General Studies Paper 1, questions come from history, polity, economics, geography, environment, and science and technology. So this is a brief syllabus that comes from GS Paper 1 and CSAT. And examination for this preliminary will be conducted on one day. The paper is of 2 hours duration, 2 hours for paper 1 and 2 hours for paper 2. And when a student qualifies in this preliminary examination, he will be given the permission to appear for the mains examination, which consists of 9 papers in total. Out of these, the first 2 papers, they are any Indian language and English. These are compulsory papers and they are qualifying in nature. Then one is an essay paper, in which a student will have to write 2 essays of 125 marks each. Total is of 250 marks. Thereafter, there are 4 GS papers, GS 1, 2, 3 and 4. For main examination also, there are 2 papers conducted on a single day. So it gets over in 5 days. So it is each paper is of 3 hours duration. So in GS1, the subjects are history, geography and society. And history again consists world history and Indian history. In Indian history, you will have ancient history in the form of art and culture, modern Indian history and post-independent history. Thereafter, society, sociology and geography, Indian and world geography. In GS paper 2, it consists of polity, international relations and governance. In GS paper 3, it is the most diverse paper. It consists of economics, environment, disaster management, agriculture, science and technology and any other topic which are related to these areas. GS paper 4 is ethics paper, and in this it is mainly to do with your morals, values, ethics, compassion and subjects like these. Even for ethics paper also, it has a well-defined syllabus, and half of the paper will consist of case studies which are given in the form of stories, and they will be analyzing what are you going to do in that particular situation. So this is going to be the paper for GS4. Apart from these papers, there are 2 papers for optional subject. Any one optional subject of your choice has to be chosen, and you will have to write 2 papers in that of 250 marks each. So this is the pattern of main examination. When candidates clear the main examination, again they are given admission admit card or e-summon letter to appear in the personality test. This personality test is conducted in Delhi in UPSC's Rolpur house. So it is spread over, usually it happens in around 3 to 4 months, but this time it started on 31st of January and it perhaps ended on 18th of May this year. So it was spread across 5 months this year. Thereafter, when students clear the personality test also. According to their merit list, the names or the ranks of the candidates are announced.
Ma'am, everything looks very vast and very difficult.
The duration is of 1 year. So now there has been some recommendations to, in fact, reduce the time cycle, like the time taken to complete the examination.
Okay, like in between examination gaps.
Yes, in between examination gaps also, and maybe to conduct the examination twice a year.
Okay.
So that it would be more helpful to aspirants. They would not lose out time.
I think the vastness of this examination is what makes it one of the most difficult examination of the world.
Yes, that is true, and also the competition.
Right.
So if there are around 13 to 14 lakhs who are taking the prelims, then that competition itself makes it difficult.
Right. For a new aspirant, how one can choose optional, and what are the points to keep in mind while choosing optional?
One thing is they can consider their background education in graduation. So if there is a student who has done his history, economics, geography, graduation in these subjects, they can as well take these subjects of their graduation as their optional papers. But for me, there was a peculiar condition wherein I am an electronics and communication graduate, and this was not offered as an optional subject in UPSC. So I had to select an optional which was being offered by UPSC, and hence I had to change. So I was in fact very bad at choosing my optional, and this cost me a lot because I have changed it thrice, and this is not advisable for anyone to do. So when they are selecting the optional, better first check the syllabus, check whether they understand and they know and they have an interest in that subject. Secondly is to check the resources or the materials, whether they are available for that subject, and if they need any coaching or any help, then whether it is available for that subject. Third is to see whether the optional subject is rewarding. Like some subjects like public administration, no matter how you write or how difficult, how well you prepare, it is often said that it is not that rewarding. Like the marks are not good in that subject. However, I really don't know the correlation, but it is often said like this. So it is better to check these, and other than this, it is to see whether the person is genuinely interested in the subject and he can read the subject, because optional subjects and syllabus is very vast and it is almost a post-graduation level. So one has to be into the subject, and you should not feel bored that if it is not rewarding, or say in first attempt it did not fetch good marks, then immediately he should not be changing his optional subject. He should analyze where he has gone wrong and how he can improve it. So if that can be done in second attempt, I am sure that it will reward him much better. So this should be within that candidate so that he can analyze properly and see where he is going wrong. This understanding should be there, especially for optional subject. So that is the only advice or opinion that I have.
In my limited knowledge, I had read that one of your options was Kannada literature,
yes,
and next was anthropology.
Yes.
What was the third one?
First, I had taken geography.
Geography, Kannada literature,
yes,
and anthropology.
Yes.
So can you please tell us 2 pros and cons of each, so that if aspirants are thinking of choosing it, they will give it a thought?
Sure. In geography, in fact, the best thing is that it is a person will not get bored reading geography. It contains everything, and it has quite overlapping with GS also. In GS1, we have geography as a subject, Indian and world geography. Again, in paper 3, disaster management, agriculture, land reforms, economic geography, these topics are covered in paper 2 of geography. So there was considerable overlapping with GS syllabus also. And again, there is ample scope for diagrams, for drawing diagrams and expressing yourself through diagrams, graphs, maps. So if a person is good in diagrams, mapping, so it will be his choice to go for a subject like geography. And that is the reason why I chose geography, because I had considered myself to be good in diagrams, mapping, and also I felt that the overlapping with GS was very good. But unfortunately, maybe I did not give my complete dedication, heart and soul to the subject. So I did not do well in geography, and I had to change to Kannada literature. Kannada literature as an optional is very vast. because it is a classical language. So one of the major disadvantages is the vastness of the syllabus, and you can never complete it. Only you have to do is the positive aspect of Kannada literature is to take help of previous year's questions. So wherein somewhere there is some relation. So with the help of previous year's questions, that optional was kind of well covered in my view. Yes, it is doable. One more major drawback of Kannada literature is the handwriting or the writing part. It is not in English, and writing in Kannada script or Kannada lipi is very difficult and time consuming. So I was not able to complete the paper. So this is something what students who want to take language and language which is different or which lipi is different, so they will have to consider, because when you are writing in Hindi script or when you are writing in any other language, their script, and if other papers you are writing in English, then you should have sufficient writing practice for it. Otherwise, you will find it very difficult to complete the paper. This is one of the disadvantages for Kannada literature. Advantage is that very little students take any of the language. So therefore the competition that is there in subjects like anthropology, geography, because around in mains at least 6,000, 7,000 people in fact have these common optional subjects. Most of them will have taken anthropology, will have taken geography, history, economics. So these common subjects, competition is high, whereas that is not so in language papers. This is the advantage of taking any language paper. And third is with respect to anthropology. In fact, when I changed it for my last attempt, I was very genuinely interested in anthropology. I had considered taking anthropology immediately after geography, like when I wanted to change it earlier also. But I really don't know why I took Kannada literature. Maybe it was for good, because I got a rank of 314 with Kannada literature itself as my optional subject. So with anthropology, it is a very interesting subject. You will never feel bored of reading anthropology, and anthropology also has considerable overlap with few areas of GS, but not as much as geography had, but only few areas of GS do overlap with anthropology, especially the tribal part of it, disaster management, or in GST, land reforms. So these very minute areas do overlap. And anthropology, it has different areas, different topics, ranging from history to economy to polity to sociology. Everything about man, everything is studied, literally. So this kept me interested in that particular subject, and I never felt that reading anthropology was a burden. Although it was my last attempt and I had to prepare the optional from scratch, it kept me self-motivated. So that was one of the main positive factors I found in anthropology. Yes.
Ma'am, some people say that you should choose your option in the beginning itself, and some say that you should read 3-4 months some other subjects and then choose your forte or your interest and then choose optional accordingly. So what is your call on that? When should one choose their optional?
One should first look at the syllabus of different optionals that UPSC offers, and after looking at the syllabus of optional, let them consult their seniors who have appeared in the exam with that particular optional, because they would be giving more better insights of the difficulties, of whether the optional can be completed within a particular duration of time, or what are the kind of questions that appear in the examination from that particular optional, whether the paper can be completed. So when any new candidate or student wants to consider his options, first thing that we should do is the syllabus. Second thing is approach a senior who has taken the examination or who has written it in that particular option. Third thing is to just go through the books. Like you said, just very quickly sift through the books, but not take too much of time on deciding the option, because once you have decided your option, then you can start studying the subject. So that time can be invested in studying the subject instead of just wasting time on selecting your option.
So it's better to choose in the initial days itself.
Yes, it's better, but make a right and a correct decision so that you will feel happy to read the subject, and that subject will in turn reward you.
Now, if someone is planning to start their preparation from today, so what should be their 1 year timetable, tentative timetable according to you?
This timetable can be in fact aligned with the UPSC timetable. So what is now prelims has been done. It was I think this year the prelims was on 28th May. Now mains is going to be held in September. The best a person can do is align themselves with the UPSC calendar. So now I particularly know that it is time to study for mains. So any new person who is starting to study today, they should start their preparation with studying for mains. Approximately till December, they should read for mains, that is their optional and GS main subjects. In the month of January, they can revise because the syllabus is vast. Without revision, people will forget. Without revision, it's very difficult to retain what we have read once or twice. So January can be used for revision and practicing tests. From February till May, they can concentrate on prelims. So this would be the ideal timetable for anybody who is starting preparation.
So in the initial months only they should complete their optional as well as other subjects of mains.
Yes, that is if they are starting from
today,
today.
right.
But if they are starting in the month of February, then they will have to prepare for prelims.
Right.
Yes, so the best they can take a hint from the UPSC calendar.
That's a very good advice, ma'am, for the aspirants. So, ma'am, what is your tentative book list which you have referred for prelims person to begin with?
Okay, for prelims, modern Indian history, I did it from Vipin Chandra, and then I did it from Spectrum. Then post-independence history, I did it from Vision in the value-added material. Thereafter, geography, I did it from Gochin Leong, and 11th and 12th NCERT. Economics, I did it from Shriram Economics, and also another book called as Ramesh Singh. There is also a site called as lunal.org, from which I did geography. There are PPTs which are done by Rashtanal Mam. So those PPTs. For art and culture also, I refer the same lunal.org website. I studied from PPTs. For modern history again, and for few aspects of internal security, I did it from Pratik Naik's lectures, which are and his PPTs which are again available on lunal.org. Then for polity, I used Lakshmikant, and for some topics or for some articles wherein I did not understand from Lakshmikant, I read the Bare Acts. Bare Act is the Bare Constitution Acts. Then for environment, I referred Shankar IAS Environment textbook. For art and culture, from Nitin Singhania's textbook. So these were the textbooks that I used for prelims.
So, ma'am, from the beginning, you referred only 10 to 12 books, or you referred initially 6 to 10 books and then you shifted to 10 to 12?
No. In fact, I did not refer NCERTs I did not refer too much of NCERTs. I started off with standard textbooks itself. So, only for those subjects wherein I did not find any one standard textbook, in that case, I referred 11th and 12th NCERTs.
So, ma'am, in UPSC, current affairs play a very important role. So, how did you prepare current affairs?
With respect to current affairs, I followed Vision current affairs monthly magazines, and I also followed PT 365 of Vision and Mains 365 for Mains examination. Monthly current affairs, I used to do it for 2 to 3 days in a month. And apart from this, every day I used to read newspaper. From after mains till interview, I read 3 newspapers every day. But before that, I used to read Hindu. But I was not very regular in reading Hindu also. Most of my current affairs were done from Vision Current Affairs Monthly Magazine. And another one is Yojana. I used to refer Yojana, which is published by government itself. That Yojana was very helpful in making essay topics or essay quotes. This was very helpful for essay.
So, ma'am, you referred monthly magazine every month.
Yes.
And at the end again, you referred PT 365.
Yes.
So, you did revision of both monthly magazine as well as PT, or you stopped revising monthly magazine and only referred PT 365?
Now, what is there in PT 365 is actually taken from Current Affairs Monthly Magazine. So, whatever is relevant for prelims, only that is given in PT 365. So, I revised for prelims only from PT 365.
So, So to sum up your current affairs preparation, you can say that you daily refer Hindu every day, almost regularly. In the month end, you refer monthly magazine.
Yes.
And year end, you refer PT 365 or mains 365?
Yes, not year end, before prelims.
Before prelims and
yes,
before mains.
Yes.
This was your overall current affairs strategy.
Yes. One more thing I would like to add is I saw Sudarshan Lodha sir's Target UPSC. There is this current affairs marathon videos which are put on his YouTube channel. So they are available for free. It is around 12 to 13 hours marathon video, which I had seen prior to my prelims examination. So that was very helpful. It was like a revision.
Ma'am, do you make any notes out of these current affairs? Or these magazines were only your notes?
I used to highlight in the magazine. So in PT 365 I used to highlight. I used to read them again. More than that, what I did was I did practice mock tests. So when I was taking the mock test, any kind of a question which I answered wrong, I used to immediately write it down in another notebook. So at the end, I used to read those notebooks. So there were around 350 or 400 pointers. Only one word pointers which I was likely to forget or which I was going to go wrong. Like places in news. So names of those places and which country they were located in. So these kind of facts which are very like easily lost. Like we don't remember these things I had written it down.
So you relied on manual notes or sometimes digital notes as well?
Not sometimes, most of the times it is being digital notes.
Most of
Yes. Yes.
So how did you prepare those notes? How did you modify your timing?
I have an iPad there on which I continuously make notes. There is this app called as Good Notes app. So I use that. I have used it extensively for my note making, and it was quite good and it was quite handy. Because throughout the training we had to shift from one place to another place. So carrying books would have become very difficult.
Ma'am, also as you said, CSAT play an important role in prelims. So what were your resources for CSAT?
My resources for CSAT is previous year's question papers. So I used to go through the previous year's question papers, solve them. Those things I used it as my resources.
Because people say that it is getting tougher every year.
Yes.
So I think being from math background, it helped you.
Yes, perhaps it helped me because even in engineering also I had studied permutation, combination, probability, so which I was quite comfortable in solving in the examination. Now, in fact, when I saw the paper, they were asking more of probability, more of permutation, combination questions. So being from that background, it helped.
So ma'am, how many test series did you attempt before pre?
Before prelims, I attempted around 52, not test series, 52 tests.
52 tests.
Yes.
Okay. And every time you did it before every attempt or this attempt specifically?
I used to do it before every attempt.
Around 50 tests was your?
Around sometimes 65. It used to depend on time. So it so happened that in 1 year I did around 112 or something because I had not.
And does the number matter?
The number doesn't matter because after a point the questions become repetitive. So the same questions which was asked in forum mock tests are asked, in vision mock tests are asked, in Vajira mock tests, so it doesn't help.
So ma'am, to sum up with the pre-preparation, can you please tell us some 3 most important points which one should remember before prelims?
One is to do the previous year's question papers at least 7 to 8 years, so that they will know the pattern of questions that will appear. And second one is to practice it in a kind of exam-like environment. So if you are sitting for 2 hours, sit for 2 hours. And not like I did a paper for 30 minutes, I solved it like Kaun Banega Crorepati, because they are objective, and then again I went out, I came back. So let them sit for 2 hours, and especially 2 hours in the morning for GS, again 2 hours in the afternoon for CSAT, if they are able to do that, or if they want to practice it. So this is the second thing. And third thing is, properly read, give time to recollect. Read the question, understand the question. And sometimes in the question paper, it can so happen that they might ask which are the incorrect options or which options are not correct. So we should not be in a hurry while reading the paper. So only by misreading the question, even if we know the answer, we can mark it wrong. So reading the question carefully is one of the main things that like they should not be anxious or they should not be stressed when they are in the exam hall reading the paper.
So ma'am, now suppose they are done with the preparation and now it's the day of the examination and paper is in your hand. So what is your exact approach towards solving the paper, or how do you do it in single round or you do it 3 rounds as people say?
I do it in 3 rounds. The first thing that I do as soon as I get the paper and it is time is I check whether all the papers are intact. Like whether the booklet contains how many other papers is mentioned and it's supposed to be in the booklet. Second is to fill in the roll number, the version of the paper correctly in the OMR so that there are no mistakes in that. And thereafter, I start solving the paper. And as I solve or as I read the question paper and I get the answer, I will simultaneously mark it in the OMR. I will not solve 10 questions and then mark 10 bubbles on the OMR. So I will solve one question, mark it on the OMR, then proceed next. In case if there is a doubt question wherein I am unable to choose between 2 options, then I will keep it later. I will come back in the second iteration. Like you already told, I used to solve it in 3 rounds. And I also used a scale for OMR because the bubbles are so close. So this is something like if anybody wants, they can take it as a suggestion. Let them carry a long scale so that they will exactly know that they are marking the same bubble and while marking the options don't go.
Because I think in this OMR thing only if one question goes wrong, all the video goes wrong.
Yes.
So this is a very good suggestion which I think every aspirant should follow. So ma'am, in overall your attempts, how many questions did you attempt? Number of questions in prelim?
In prelims, approximately I used to attend around 92 to 95. Or maybe 85 to 95 approximately I used to attend.
Now ma'am, let's move towards means. So what is your book list for means? Is it something different from pre or it's the same?
It is different from prelims, but the same standard basic textbooks they are going to remain the same because subjects like history, geography, polity, economics and environment, they are same, they are constant even for means. Addition to this, what I did is I referred vision value added material for topics like governance, which I did not have textbook. I think Lakshmikant has now come out with governance textbook also. But for these topics, I used vision value added material. Other than this, for ethics, I used a textbook called as Decoding Ethics, which was written by Mudit James. So that book I found it very helpful and student friendly because it's got examples and it's also got previous year's questions. So this I used for ethics. Other than that, for essay also, I used value added materials from vision, and also I used to read this competition success. They usually publish 2 essays or every month they have 2 essays which are published in competition success. So that I used to read.
And what is competition success by us?
Competition success is a magazine which is published every month.
Every month.
Yes.
So you refer it every month?
Not in. I could not get the copies of it for past 2 years. Whatever I had at my house, I used to just read through the same essays. Otherwise, it's a good magazine for any government competitive examination.
And ma'am, what were your main resources for your optional subject like anthropology?
Okay, for anthropology, I have referred P. Muniratnam Reddy's notes. Then I have referred Braintree notes for some topics. Then Demystified Anthropology by Akshat Jain. It is previous year's question papers. And also Vivek Basme. So these 4 were my main sources for anthropology. Apart from this, depending on the particular topic, I also referred IGNOU notes and P. Nath textbook for physical anthropology. Apart from this, many tribal health status and all these, the reports as and when they were released by Ministry of Tribal Affairs and other ministries' website, depending upon the requirement and the topic of the syllabus as to refer.
And ma'am, I heard that answer writing play a very important role in mains. So did you start answer writing practice since the beginning or only after the prelims were over?
One thing is, what I did was first I completed my basic syllabus and then I started writing answers.
Like after 2-3 months each?
After I completed the entire basic syllabus once And then I went through the previous year's question papers, and then after that I started writing answers. So by the end of December, January, I was writing practice answers, but not full-fledged tests. I used to write around 3 to 4 answers every day. So, but after prelims examinations, when I calculated my score with the team, when I got a clear idea that I would clear prelims, I joined for mock test series. I joined from Vision online. So there, I could write only 8 tests. I could not complete the test series that I had taken.
And for optionals, the same thing you followed?
For optionals, I had taken from Develop IAS, Anthropology optional test series. They offer it online. So even there, I had taken it for 7 tests or something. So unfortunately, I could not complete in both because of lack of time.
Yeah. But still, while working also, you managed so well. Like you gave so many tests. That's really commendable.
Yes, prelims tests I gave a lot, but main test same I could not maintain because they were of 3 hours and in fact it requires more time and more practice and reading also for me. But what I did was, I did framework. Although I did not write full mock tests and full questions and answers, I took the previous year's question papers. For every question, I did a short framework of what the answer structure should be and what are the main contents of it. So this used to get over in 3 to 4 minutes. So this in fact helped me. Yes.
And ma'am, what is the role of diagrams or flowcharts in mains and how to practice them?
Diagrams and flowcharts are very essential, but they should not be out of place. Like if the question demands it, if there is a question on say economic growth or progress, and you can very well explain it with the help of a chart, a graph or a pie chart or anything, then in that case a graph is worth. But unnecessarily it should not be made to fit in just because you want to draw a diagram or a flowchart. Diagrams do work very well in geography also, because my optional was geography for the first 2 attempts. So, and consistently after that my GS1 scores has been good, because I naturally had a habit of drawing the world map or drawing the Indian map and locating the resources on the map. So these are very helpful in GS1. And again in ethics also, if it is possible, if you can draw diagrams and explain the relations using a flowchart or any cycle diagram, that would be good. But it should not be overdone or it should not be a misfit in a particular question.
And how to frame those, like how to practice for them, because in mains you get very little time to think over an answer. So people say that you should already have that in back of your mind so that you can just go and draw it. There is no time to think over it in the examination. So how to prepare it earlier?
See, this is, it would be nearly impossible to say that we will be prepared for every question beforehand. One thing is the basic, the most common diagrams. You can take them from Yojana, like I told. So this budget magazine of Yojana, there are ample graphs related to Indian economy in that budget, or any other that particular topic like MSME, disaster management. So in these particular topics, there are scope for diagrams which are already available in Yojana or in any other current affairs magazine. So those diagrams which are easily rememberable and reproducible, these things can be taken up from those diagrams. And another one is the budget and economic survey. So in these 2 documents, when you go through, nowadays it is very well explained by using flowcharts and by using the vicious cycle of poverty or the vibrant cycle of economic growth and progress. So these are very well explained in economic survey. So a student can practice them and modify them according to their need. So they can take one vibrant cycle, they can make it to suit progress and growth of industries. Same thing they can use it for services. Same thing they can use it for logistics industries. Just by tweaking few names of few diagrams. So this can be practiced.
And as you have mentioned economic survey and budget, so will you refer the original document or you refer to coaching notes?
For budget, I refer the document which is there on Ministry of Finance Affairs. They give in fact a short budget. like the important areas of budget, they put it in a PDF. So that I read it from Ministry of Finance Affairs website. Other than that, I saw these lectures from Vikas Jha sir, which are put on YouTube for free. So the sir does lectures for budget and for economic survey. So these two, I saw those lectures and I wrote down those notes. So that did help.
And ma'am, what was the role of coaching in your overall preparation journey?
Coaching has been useful to the extent that I have made the best use of whatever free material was available on different coaching websites. Like I previously mentioned, I utilized Vision's Current Affairs Monthly Magazine and PT365 and Mains 365. So these things I was referring from Vision website itself. Then again on YouTube, whatever was available, like from Target UPSC, I did refer the current affairs marathon videos. So whatever was available, whatever I found useful, I did use it. I'm not telling that they are completely useless or one should not do them. One should analyze their areas or their weakness and they should supplement it with material if it is available or if there is any lack of understanding in that particular area. Where I took help was in mock tests. Because for mock tests, I felt that I needed some discipline and I wanted feedback. Like I wanted somebody to check it and give it to me. But unfortunately, the checking or the correction has not been up to mark for any institute. We batchmates used to cross-check it among ourselves and that peer feedback has been more useful. So if that is happening, then well and good. But if you don't find peer feedback, then you can go for mock tests. Yes.
Ma'am, what was your overall revision strategy? Like you have mentioned such a vast syllabus and it requires a good revision to retain everything. So how did you do it? Daily revisions, monthly, weekly? What was the exact strategy?
It was aligned with the tests. So when I was taking a test, if I am unable to recollect a particular topic that I have previously read, if the same question is there in the test, then I know that there is a fault there, so I have to go back and revise. So this is how I was doing. So every week I used to keep a test, at least on Saturdays or Sundays, whenever I found time. Like this week, if it is GS1, then this entire week I would read GS1 syllabus. Next week is GS2. So like this, in 1 month, 4 weekends, 4 of my GS used to be completed. So the next week I used to do the same for optional. So like this, between prelims and mains, I was effective in completing the reading twice for every subject. So this is how it was. It was aligned with the tests. The revision was aligned with the tests.
And ma'am, what about language papers? You mentioned that they are also compulsory subjects. And I have heard that some people, even people are not qualifying in language, they don't qualify mains. So what is your opinion or what is your call on it?
Whether it is qualifying or whether it is for rank, one should never neglect any paper. So, although the languages are of 10th standard level, but it is advised that since it's their own mother tongue and they would have studied or prepared well in that language, then at least before the examination they can look into the grammar or previous year's question papers, what they will ask. So that would certainly help. Yes, previous year's question papers will help, especially for language papers.
Now, as you said that there are many mains paper as well and it is a long cycle. So while giving mains examination, how one can stay motivated in the journey that they have come so far, now just little more to go. But that whole process is very tiresome, that daily you have to give 2 papers. So in that also, how to stay motivated?
During the examination?
Yeah, during mains examination.
During mains examination, your days will be so jam-packed that you will not realize what is happening. So it is like, on Friday there would be an essay paper, Saturday, Sunday, your 5 papers will be over in 1 weekend. And remaining you will have 1 week of gap. Next weekend you will be having your compulsory papers and optional papers. So in that 1 week you will be preparing for your optional subject in which the syllabus is already huge. So I feel that once a person who clears prelims, he or she himself is quite motivated because they are the chosen few. So not everybody who appear at prelims will actually clear prelims because prelims itself is the most difficult stage of examination. So once they have cleared prelims, it is automatic that they feel motivated because they are among the chosen few are writing mains and who have the potential to be the first ranker in future. So that itself motivates them.
And ma'am, suppose now we are done with mains. Now comes the interview stage. So what was your preparation for interview? As you said, you referred 3 newspapers. Along with that, what else you do for interview?
Along with that, in fact, I was blessed to get the guidance of Virendra Ojha sir and Shaurya Shashwat sir. They are senior Indian Revenue Service officers who, in fact, every day through Zoom calls they mentored me. So for around 2 hours, they used to ask me questions on that day's current affairs, what was there in newspaper. So every day for 2 hours, talking, communicating with them. So that helped me to improve my pace. The way I used to communicate, talk, put across my thoughts. So that kind of it improved. And it was an everyday practice. So this helped for interview.
So you started immediately after means or you took some break and then started?
No, after the result.
After the result.
Yes.
Okay. And did you give any mock interviews?
Yes, I
And
did.
did it help?
Yes, mock interviews do help. In fact, they make you get acquainted with that process which is going to happen on that particular day. And also coming face to face with 5 senior bureaucrats who have in fact seen or have more experience, almost twice your age. So that in itself is a kind of a very happy and positive feeling that you get when you go for mock interviews. So they do help to get over your nervousness. That feeling of nervousness, anxiety, so that comes under control when you attend mock interviews.
Ma'am, how was your interview experience when you went for interview?
Okay, my interview experience was good. I had RN Chobes as board. So the questions were completely unexpected. So they were not from my dad and they were not from current affairs also. Nor were they from newspaper or any other at least remotely relatable area. So it was completely a different interview and it went on its own line. So I was asked about forex reserves of India, about import and exports, about prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, about how to bring more women into transportation sector because I was working in the railway. So how to bring more women into transportation. And also questions on Rishi Sunak, India and UK relations.
Okay. So it was overall a pleasant experience?
Yes, it was a good experience.
How do you maintain your calm? Because it is very difficult to become very anxious in such times. And when it was not in expected grounds, you might be more anxious. So how did you maintain that calm in overall your interview?
My only focus was to see that I listen to the question carefully, I understand the question, and if I know the question, I would answer. If I don't know the question, I would say, I'm really sorry, sir or ma'am, I do not know about this particular area of question. So this was what I had kind of previously programmed in my mind. So I did put my full concentration on listening to their question and answering that.
So ma'am, now you are done with interview. So now it's the result time. So after that, what were your marks like in prelims as well as mains and interview as well?
In prelims, I have got 101.98 or something in GS1 and CSAT is qualifying. In that I have got 89 or 90. 66 is the cutoff for CSAT. In essay, I scored 148 and GS total I scored 425 and in optionals I got 263. My interview marks are 173. So total main score is 1009.
That's a really good score. That made you stand 55th in all India, right?
Yes.
So ma'am, in this tough journey, what is the role of hobbies? Because I have read somewhere that you have pista craft shell hobby. So can you please emphasize on role of hobbies, or should one have hobby and when they can give time for it?
In fact, it has been such a long journey that if I was not into hobbies or into sports, then it would have been very difficult to maintain the same level of concentration and interest, especially while reading or studying. Because at one point of time, it gets quite monotonous. And only relief that you find when you are away from your family, when you are in training, is that you get together with like-minded people I did some pistachio craft and rangoli for India Day, for cultural programs which were held in the institute, and I did get prizes for that also. So that getting the prize of participating in those was itself a motivation. And since it was a hobby, and whenever I wanted some relaxation, whenever I felt that I'm not able to concentrate or it was getting really boring and tiresome, then that time I found solace in my hobbies.
Ma'am, can you also emphasize the importance of diet, sleep and meditation in this journey?
Sleep I can, because I would require a minimum of 6 to 7 hours of proper sleep. Otherwise, next day I would have this bad migraine headache. So I have never stayed awake, nor would I say that anybody should stay awake or lose their night's sleep for this examination, because it is not required. So other than that, meditation I am trying to learn. I am not into it, so I think it would be wrong on my part to go into an area which I don't know. And diet, one thing is that they should make sure that they are well hydrated and they don't lose their energy. Maybe before the examination, if they can have these chocolates or anything so that their sugar level is high and they can give the examination. But however, since most of the time I prepared from home, so my diet was taken care of by my parents. Yes. And secondly, during training, whatever I was getting there, roti, sabji, dal chawal, that was quite fine during training. I did not consciously concentrate on my diet also. And maybe now I think I have to concentrate and at least get into this exercise and consciously maintain the diet, at least now since I have time for it.
Now, ma'am, we have seen this journey for so long. So, what will be your message to that Bhavana who is preparing for her first attempt?
One thing is to choose the optionals consciously, and once maybe what they need to do is properly understand the syllabus and give every subject the time it requires, the dedication and the concentration it requires. Complete every point in the syllabus. Sometimes what people tend to do is, if they go to the previous year's question papers, it so happens that in world history not many questions come, they skip world history. So never take a chance of skipping any particular topic in the syllabus, because it is like giving, even though it's mentioned in the syllabus, if I have not studied or if I have not prepared for it, then fault is on my side. So don't let any mistakes happen knowingly. So if they unknowingly happen, then it's beyond your control. But again, the third important aspect is to practice the previous year's question papers or any mock test that they have taken religiously. So this is my only advice.
And ma'am, what would you advise for the one who couldn't clear this exam even after their last attempt?
This exam does give you a very good career. It gives you a lot more opportunities. But again, even if not this exam, the world is a much better place. It is more greener and more brighter outside than this exam. Although it is one of the avenues, but there are thousands of different other avenues. Like many of my own friends who've been preparing, they have got their own businesses now. And one of them is into cold press oil manufacturing, wherein he's offered jobs to many other employees who look up to him. So this entrepreneurship or exploring themselves in many other areas, especially when the world has given a lot more opportunities, I don't think that anyone should lose hope or should kind of feel let down. It is true that we will feel sad, it is natural, but one should overcome that sadness.
And coming towards the last part of interview, we have discussed many serious topics. So now we have a light-hearted rapid fire for you, which you have to answer instantly.
Sure.
So can we proceed?
I try.
I cannot forget.
My mom.
The one superpower which I always wanted.
Patience.
Favorite food?
So, masala sa.
Best thing about Solapur?
Siddheshwar Mandir.
Describe Bhavana in 3 words.
Dedicated, compassionate, and sometimes a bit irritating.
movie which you want to see next?
No plans as well as.
If you want to forget something from your past, what it can be?
The painful memories I have lived.
Like from this journey or other?
Not this journey. This journey has taught me a lot. So even if I have suffered in this journey, it is that I don't want to forget it. Something which will stay with me.
If you get an opportunity to meet a celebrity, who can that be?
The Honorable Prime Minister.
One question on our states, Karnataka or Maharashtra?
Both. One is my Janam Bhumi, other is my Karam Bhumi, so I can't choose between.
So both.
Yes.
What is the best part of this podcast?
The best part is that it was natural. I did not feel kind of nervous or very anxious like I had thought I would be.
Yeah.
So it was very comfortable.
Actually, I was more anxious interviewing you. So ma'am, can you please mention 3 people who should be part of our podcast, whose journey can inspire many of our viewers?
Sure.
People you know.
Yes. One such person is Shri Machendra Galve Uttam sir. So sir is serving as DPO in Sholapur itself. So sir has a very unique story because he has appeared in his mother tongue, that is Marathi itself. So he's written all the GS papers in Marathi, he's practiced and he's appeared in Marathi itself. So this is something which is unique and which very less people do. Like they don't opt for their mother tongue. They usually write it in English. So I think Machendra Galve sir is one such person whom you should interview on this podcast, and I will share the contact of sir with his permission too. So maybe the next podcast will be discussed.
Next one.
And another person, I'm unable to kind of identify.
Recall actually.
Yes, recall.
Okay.
I'll surely let you know if I do feel that anybody will add value to your podcast and to the viewers.
Ma'am, now as you have cleared the examination, where you see yourself in 10 years from now?
In 10 years, as a better person with much better experience. Other than that, the natural progression that the career gives us, that will be very natural, and I don't think I'll have to go in much effort which post I'll be holding or what I'll be doing. I just want to grow as a better human being in my profession and my personal life.
Any department where you would like to work?
That is education and health. So I am looking forward for opportunities in these departments. They are vital for every human being on earth.
Yes. And ma'am, any concluding message for all our aspirants before we close this podcast?
Only concluding message is that be patient and be ready to work hard and maintain your punctuality and proper time and proper schedule when you are studying for the exam. And let them not lose heart with one failure or with 2 failures, because the exam is such that it takes time. So let them give time, and I wish all the aspirants will be successful in this examination.
And thank you very much for giving us your precious time for this podcast and for guiding all the aspirants out there. I think they will really be thankful to you.
Thank you so much.
And ma'am, as memory of this podcast, we have a small gift for you. I hope you like that.
Thank you so much.
तो फ्रेंड्स, आई होप आप लोगों को ये एपिसोड पसंद आया होगा। जल्द ही मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में एक और इंस्पिरेशनल गेस्ट के साथ। तब तक के लिए कीप स्माइलिंग, स्टे हेल्दी।